Hello, hello. Okay, I'm really hoping that the sound works okay because I don't have my headphones in and I'm sitting outside and it's pretty quiet around here today, but occasionally some big trucks do go by. So if you can't hear me, if you're watching live and at any point it gets too loud, let me know. And if you're watching later, saws. Um, but yeah, hopefully this works. So, it's been a busy time, and as you know, I didn't do my teaming chat last week for the first time in like 3 months. I think I've been doing these, and there has only been, I think I missed the second week, but other than that, I've been doing them pretty much every week. But last week was our big deadline, and we signed the accounts, which for a listed PLC is a big freaking deal. And then, so we signed on Wednesday, and then we announced our results to the city on Thursday, and it was just, it's a big deadline, as you've been hearing me talk about for about 2 months now. So it was huge, and I know that you don't want to hear me talk about it anymore, in terms of like how busy I was and all of that, but I do want to just talk about it a little bit more, and this is my last week talking about it. But this part, what I want to talk about is how it felt so different. So it was obviously tough. Like I said, you guys have been hearing me talk about it. You've been hearing me talk about like what I've been doing to cope with it and how to take care of myself during it and all of that. But all of that, what I want to talk about now, like in hindsight, is how big of a difference that made. But also the like, it's how I was looking after myself, but also the way that I took leadership over this year. So this year, this is my 6th year end doing it. So I've been here at my company for 7 years, but I had 1 year off for mat leave where I didn't do year end. So this is my 6th time doing this year end cycle. And the feedback we got this year was by far and away the best feedback we've ever had, from like senior people, including the chair of the audit committee, which is a big deal. But the important part that I want to talk about is that it had nothing to do with my ability as an accountant. I did not get any better at my actual accounting ability this year. If anything, as I get further and further away from my studies, I probably have less like actual accounting technical awareness. Don't tell my boss that. But what changed is my leadership, and the reason that we got recognized this year for how good the project turned out in terms of its quality and the actual process, I'm putting down to the leadership. It wasn't just me, but I am the project manager on it, so a lot of it was me. But it was the reason that it came out so good was the team behind it, and the way that we led the team, and the way that every single one of us performed this year. Everybody on my team made such an effort and put in so much. And I think that, like I said, a lot of it is how I manage. So in terms of like I think we're back now. The lessons that I've been learning and applying in my coaching, and that I work with my clients on, and that I apply to myself, because I am always first and foremost my own best client, my own best student. But all of these things that I do in my coaching world have then been applied to my work world, and that is where like the really cool stuff comes in. Is that this stuff isn't just done in isolation. This, the healing work that we do, the lessons that we learn, what we apply to our lives, it applies to all of our lives. So that's part of why I'm not, you won't see me advertising as a relationship coach or a business coach or a, like, I haven't told you guys I coach you on these specific areas of your life, because they're all connected. We can start by looking at one area for sure. Like, as you'll know if you've seen my story before, like I started getting coaching by signing up with a sex coach because I wanted to work on stuff in my sex life. But that immediately expanded into like all areas of my life. And that is what it's applying here, is that I never have specifically talked to my coaches saying, I hope you can hear me. I never went to any of my coaches saying, I want coaching on how to be a better leader at work. Instead, what I've been doing is working on leadership with myself and intimacy with myself. And then those things have spilled out into every area of my life, into my work life as a employee and as a boss and as a as a parent, the way that I am dating, the way that I deal with my co-parent, like literally everything. It's all affected because it all starts with me and with the intimacy that I have with myself. And then that's what spills out into everything else. So the fact that this year went so much better and my leadership was so much better this year is a direct result of all of this work that I'm doing in all the rest of my life, because it is all connected. So it meant that I was able to talk to my team differently. It meant that I was way more clear on expectations. It meant that I was way more clear on feedback. It meant that, I held myself accountable in the same way I was holding my team accountable. I didn't shy away from tricky conversations. So there were some tricky conversations in this process. And old me would have gone, oh my God, I hate conflict. Let's just push that to the side and we're just going to, deal with it, pretend it's not happening. This year I went, all right, we need to talk about this, because if we don't, it's going to fester and get worse. So we had the tricky conversations. Things got better. Surprise, surprise. It's all of those pieces that have fed into a smoother process, a better outcome. Like I said, it was still hard. I put in long hours. My team put in long hours. People, very worn out by this. But nobody was traumatized like we basically were last year. We had a much better outcome. It was a lot less risky. Things were just noticeably different as a result of all of these changes, and the team could feel that too. Another big thing we did different was the recognition at the end. So in past years, the big deadline came and went, and it was okay, well, that's it. Let's move on to the next thing. We had maybe a day or two to, kind of chill out, and then it was right on to the next. This year, we paused, we celebrated. One woman on my team brought in treats, which you may have seen in my stories last week. We went out for lunch. My boss bought everybody a bottle of champagne. We actually stopped and marked the occasion. And, and we did say that, we're well aware that people have sacrificed a lot in these last few months to do this, and a bottle of champagne doesn't make up for that, does it? But it at least is to stop and recognize. And again, that if you watch my stuff, you'll know that I'm so here for celebrations. Celebrations lock in the feeling of whatever it is that you're locking in. So in this case, it was accomplishment, it was achievement, it was pride in what we've done, but it was also just, acknowledgement is so important. So it was acknowledging the work that everybody's put in. It was acknowledging the work that's come out of it, and celebrating that, we fucking made it, you guys. Sometimes in this process, it feels how are we ever going to make it to the deadline? We did. We fucking made it. Everybody is still standing. Everybody's still smiling. We're laughing at ourselves. We played a silly accounting game. But recognizing that is so, so important. So, is there anything else I want to say on that front before I stop boring you guys with that? I think that's it. I hope it's not boring, because it really is a big deal. And like I said, it spills out into literally every part of your life. But I will move on to the questions part, because I've got 2 good questions this week. So the first one, unfortunately, they are work related, or at least the first one is. So the first one is, somebody had asked me about, what do you do when you are sick to death of work politics? So anybody who's probably ever worked in an office, probably any other environment, I'm not sure, I've only ever worked in an office, but work politics, oh, hang on, UPS truck, I hope that's not too loud, but so work politics is just nobody's favorite part of the job, is it? But, so what do you do when you're sick of it? And I can totally relate to this question, because my office, in the 7 years I've been there, has certainly had its fair share of office politics and shit. And there was a time when it was bad enough that I was you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I am sick to death of dealing with all the shit in the office. I didn't have a problem with my job, but I was sick of all the, shit that went along with it. And then, what changes in that when you are sick to death of dealing with the politics is you and the way that you deal with it. Always my answer, isn't it? And this does take practice for sure. I am not going to tell you this is easy. I'm not going to tell you that it was an overnight switch for me, because it took practice, because it's really easy to get sucked into the politics, the drama, when you're making a cup of tea in the kitchen and people are bitching, to not get pulled into that. But over time and with practice, it is possible to extract yourself from the goo and kind of rise above it, basically. And so it's a matter of, you stop participating in it, first of all. You don't have to join into those conversations when you're making the cup of tea. You don't have to contribute to the, moaning and the groaning. So the first step, I think, is to stop participating. And if you catch yourself that's fine, because like I said, it's habit, and you can just withdraw yourself and go, I don't want to get back into this. Oh, now we've got another big truck going by. One moment, please. Headphones would have been better, wouldn't they? So I think the first step is to, bye, UPS truck. And then once you've stopped participating in yourself, you can do the next step of you can walk away. So when it's happening near you and you don't want to be part of it, you can walk away. You can shut your ears. You can distance yourself from it, whether it's physically or just energetically, and make those decisions of, this isn't where I want to be. I don't want to participate. And sometimes it's even a case of, you say to people, you know what, guys, this isn't really helping. I don't really want to be involved in this right now. You don't have to be mean or bitchy or make other people feel bad about it. You can just say, guys, this really is not helping right now. Like, can we just get back to work? Or, and this, I guess what I'm talking about is more of like office drama and people bitching and stuff like that, because that's kind of what my office was like a few years ago. If it's more of the politics, if it's like the behind the scenes kind of maneuvering, this, that, and the other, that's a bit different. When it's sneakier and in the background, it's not the same as just walking away or saying this isn't helpful right now. If it's the sneakier kind of stuff, that's different. And I think that there's always an element of kind of maneuvering around offices and like people jostling. But there again, I would say you do not have to participate in that, and you can choose. So when you get yourself into full alignment with who you are, the work you are doing, how you are showing up to work every day, and you can stand in your true integrity of going, this is what I stand for at work. I show up, I do a good job. If you're a people leader, you lead your people well. If you are working for a boss, you have a good relationship with your boss, and you just do you. And you do not have to play the games. You do not have to participate in the games, whether they're sneaky or not so sneaky. But you can you worry about you and your alignment. Now, will that sometimes disadvantage you in the company? Will that sometimes put you actually at less chance of a promotion or whatever else it may be? Possibly. But what I would say is, if that's the case, if your business is the kind of business where by not participating in the sneaky, backstabby, whatever bullshit is going on, is that the kind of environment that you want to be in? If so, fine, great. If not, then that's time to reevaluate as well. So I think there is definitely a place to pay, a part to play in you get yourself like straight first, and then if what you are doing aligns with the business you are in, then that is going to serve you well. And if it doesn't align with the place you're in, then you reevaluate that, and it might be that you look for another job somewhere else. Because not every workplace and culture will support you in your most aligned state and will support you in your integrity. And that's okay. You do not have to stay locked in jobs forever by any means. So if the workplace culture is such that you can't extract yourself from it while you're still there, then maybe you do need to physically extract yourself from it. So I think that's my answer on that one. Let me know if that's helpful or if you want to talk about it more. And then the other question I had was about resentment and experiencing resentment. And this is another big topic. But as always, this must get like, I hear myself saying this, and I like see you guys rolling your eyes. I feel you rolling your eyes. It comes back to you. That's always the answer. That's why I'm an intimacy coach. And my intimacy coach is about intimacy with yourself first and foremost, and then intimacy with others. But it's about really going deep into you and looking at your shit and your old childhood wounds and figuring out, what's going on within you. Stuff that happens around you that winds you up. It's winding you up. It's something happening inside of you. The external stuff is just the trigger for it. So if you're feeling resentful about something, then that's another really great invitation to look at, what are you feeling resentful of, and why are you feeling this resentment? What's triggering it? So it's almost, sorry, there's a bee buzzing around now. Sitting outside is always an adventure. So it's a really great invitation, like I said, to look at what's triggering it in you, and where do you have a wound that needs some attention and some healing? Where do you have a need that's unmet? Where are you feeling not supported or not enough, or like you aren't getting what you need in some way, it's that resentment will have very little to nothing to do with the person or thing or event that's causing the resentment. That is simply the external trigger, but it's in you to fix it. So it's always a chance of, for example, what could be causing resentment? If, I'm on the work front today, so if somebody gets a promotion and you're feeling resentful that they got the promotion and you didn't, that's the chance at looking at, well, okay, so what is this triggering in me? Is it a feeling of I'm not good enough? Is it a feeling of I'm not being recognized and appreciated for the work that I do? Is it a feeling of, I'm busting my ass over here and not getting any acknowledgement for it? What is it that's the core problem here? Is it because I'm too much and people think I'm too much? Is it because I think that I'm going to get left behind? It's always a chance to look in and go, what is it that I'm feeling resentful of? Or maybe it's a friend who has this amazing new relationship and you're feeling like your relationship's a bit meh, or, just like stagnant, or maybe it's downright bad, and you're feeling resentful that, well, why does she get to be happy and I don't? And again, that's looking at going, well, actually, it's not to do with her and her relationship, it's to do with me and mine and where I'm not happy. So it always comes down to looking at your stuff and figuring out what is it that's being poked, being prodded, being rubbed the wrong way, and how can I address that? It's not about changing the other person. So, is there anything else on that front? No, I think that's probably it. And also it's probably been a bit of enough noise around here. So I think I will leave it there. I will also finish by saying that I will be back here next Wednesday for a tea break and question and answer next Wednesday morning. So if you've got questions, send them to me on Messenger, or I'll put the stories up on Tuesday like usual. I will probably be sat right here again because I'll be in the office again next Wednesday. But then that will be the last one I'm in the office for, because you guys, I finish my corporate job next Friday. I'll be doing my coaching full time, and I know that I've really actually only said that on these lives, so the only way that you really know that is if you watch these. I haven't done a big announcement yet, but I'm going to. And I just thought like some sort of discount or giveaway or some sort of like big thing sounds a lot of fun when I do that announcement. Good idea. Good idea, Lindsey. So, yes, that's my last one. That does mean that there's going to be a whole lot of coaching opportunities opening up, so get excited about that. At the moment, I've still got the offers up of a single 1 hour session with me is £155. You can get the link for that in my bio. You can do the mini package of 3 sessions for £444. Or, of course, there's always the 3-month intensive, like, luxury, all singing and dancing, 3 months for £2,000. And we can start that, whenever works for you now, really. So those are the options if you want to dive into any of this deeper. There will be obviously more stuff coming up as I go into this full time. Eek! I'm also going to be asking you to share this with your friends. Shout if you get any value from anything that I say and do. Can you please shout about me to your friends and share it, because that's what's going to make this spread even further. So yay! Was there anything else? I think that's probably all I wanted to end with. So let me know, join the conversation in the comments or the messages, and we'll keep chatting soon. Okay, love you lots. Bye.